Good morning, everybody. So I wanted to talk about what happened these last 2 days. So a couple of days ago, if you watched any of my previous videos, you saw that I had gone through an experience where basically there was a conflict between me and another person, and I was super triggered, like super triggered, because I was being threatened, and fear in me got active, and there was also sadness. There was sadness because there was sadness that I'm not appreciated. There was the sadness of saying, just want to be loved. Why don't you love me? Why are you being so angry at me? Why are you, yeah, and and then you and then there was the threats that it would have real big repercussions. And so yeah, a part of me just like became super active, and there was a lot of anger that was expressed, a lot of anger, a lot of things were said. And honestly, after that, the person whom I was with was, I think, traumatized, because now she has like these fears that I might react like that again, because in the 4 years that we've known each other, I never acted like that. I've never said things like I said this time. And so I investigated for myself, like when that was happening, what was my intention? What did I really want? And looking back at it, I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to do anything. It was just fear, and it was wanting to, I guess, protect myself and make the person afraid, so that she just leaves or doesn't do what she's threatening to do. So it was like that kind of self-defense mechanism, because I was afraid basically of the consequences of her threats. So after that happened, I was so disappointed with myself. I went for a walk, I was crying, I cried to her, I asked for forgiveness. And I said, this is not what I want to embody, this is not what I value, this is not what I cherish, this is not what I want to create in this world. And there was sadness and disappointment, and there was also this feeling like, can I trust myself? Like, why did this happen? Like, how far can this go? There was this feeling of like, how can I trust myself after this? It's a very delicate feeling of how much else is there in me that I'm not aware of. And a friend of mine, friend whom I've been in touch with for quite a while now, for a couple of weeks, she's offered me coaching. And honestly, it's exactly what I need. Coaching. She said this thing of like, you have a chance to be completely vulnerable, and I have a chance to be completely committed. And it sounded great, and I felt like yes. But you know what? Because we know each other a little bit, a part of me is so ashamed to show all these things to her, to reveal all these things, because there's a fear if she sees things in me that are less than conscious, or that, like, if she sees these parts in me, then yeah, there's a fear that she will see that, and she won't like me anymore. So there's shame, there's self-judgment, and there's pride. So there's this feeling like I really want the coaching with her, because I also want to support her, and she supports me. So there's a mutual exchange, and it's everybody's happy from it. But this pride in me, like, I don't want this beautiful person who I care for, who I love, to see me like that. And then maybe there's a possibility, a chance that she will judge me, and then like completely drop me and say things like, oh my god, you know, you're actually so ugly inside, and 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 I cannot love you. I cannot be your friend because you're just too ugly. And because I because that part of me wants to avoid that because it's afraid to be seen that way. It's like I want to support her, but I'll do it in another way. But I don't want to do the coaching with her. It's like I need to do the coaching with somebody who I have no relationship at all with, no friendship or whatever, because then it doesn't matter to me whether they judge me or not. It's a funny thing, right? Because why would it matter? To whom would it matter? Because it's a feeling inside of me. It's not always there. So it's about, I guess, not having the control of, I can control how you see me, and I have the illusion that I can create the picture that I want to show you, the way I want you to perceive me. So that's all happening. But honestly, like processing whatever happened, I realized that the person with whom I had like this expression to, this anger, it's completely changed because her perception of me is now completely changed. Before, we had all like a long history, a lot of experiences, but now she's seen a side of me and I've said things that crossed the line, crossed a certain line. So now, there's fear, there's different associations, there's trauma, and I told her, like, I think you should go to a therapist and talk about it because I don't want you to live in fear like that when you're interacting with me, and we're in a situation where we have to interact with each other on a daily basis, or for now, I don't know how long anymore, but yeah, it's so funny how this is like all so mixed. A couple of months ago, when I started to do CAP, one of the first visions that I got was cutting an energetic cord between me and this person, like separating, letting go, but there was still loneliness or sadness of letting go. So, like, there were all these chances. She wanted to go, life was asking me to go. There were all these movements to allow the process of letting go to occur, but there was still the holding on, the unconscious holding on, because I didn't want to feel the sadness of being alone and having to feel and process that, having to look at that, having to be with that. So I wanted to avoid that. So we dragged out the situation now for months, and because of that, now everything's just breaking apart, and truth is breaking through everything, and things are coming out. And for me, I don't know, I just had these feelings of disappointment in myself, like, why did I do this? Why did this happen? Why did I express myself this way? And so today, this evening, yesterday, I was sleeping for an hour or two, and then all of a sudden I awoke, and there was this pressure in my chest, and I stood up, and I was like gasping for air, like like there was no, and my chest was so tight, not so tight, but there was like this something was different, like this feeling like something's gonna happen now. I'm looking at my watch, I'm looking at my pulse, and like something is like, and there's a fear like something doesn't feel right. There's this feeling of fragility, there's this feeling of like very like uncomfortable feeling. And I reached out to the woman, and she was like, let me skip that part, but basically she was afraid because it was in the middle of the night, and she was like, she's like, oh, are you okay? What's happening? I'm like, I feel strange. I feel like something's wrong. But she was reacting through her own fear. So her trauma was active, and I saw it. Now, while I was having this feeling, and I was feeling very, very uncomfortable, I was I was realizing, like what if I die now? There was this feeling of like, whoa, for the last couple of months, for the last couple of, not months, weeks, I've been just gliding, surrendering to the movements that are happening. Like, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm just gonna let everything occur. It's easy to do. Just abide your time, wait things out. But I noticed I wasn't intimately involved with whatever was occurring and evolving in my life. I wasn't alive with it. I felt very withdrawn from everything this couple of weeks, emotionally, energetically, mentally, very like uninterested in what was happening in my surroundings. It was like I just like had all these calls like, you have to deal with this, you have to deal with that, you have to deal with this. I'm like, okay. But energetically, I feel like I want to go to a different place, I want to live a different life. So I realized that, and I was like, I've just been ignoring whatever is here. And I realized this is an opportunity now for me, like this whole event that happened with me having that reaction, that volcanic eruption of emotion and speech. Like, I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't touch anybody. It was just expression of anger when I was threatened. And it's just a chance for me to see how serious am I about my path. Because I realized yesterday, I've been slacking off. I haven't been fully committed to my path. I haven't been fully intimate with my path. Like, let's do this, let's walk this together. I've just been enjoying, opening and waiting for things to occur and following the flow and like enjoying and waiting for more enjoyment. But I'm not like intimately like, okay, let's do this, let's walk together. So for me, this is like, I realized this is an opportunity to see. I don't want to say this is like a gift, but this is like the way that my life is unfolding is there's a path towards living a life of where I want to create love, share love. But what I did there was not sharing love. I didn't create love. That was not out of love. I was not in my power, right? There was fear, and there was fear projecting and defending itself. Now, this is like, for me, the way I see it, it's like a challenge saying, Igor, if you're really serious about this, take a look at this. Take a look at these things in you that are still less than conscious. Here they are. Because of that situation and the trigger, I saw them and I was like, here, look at this. See what this is about. And if I'm really serious about this, and then I'll look at it and I will see how far it goes. And I will allow myself to be committed to the process of, okay, this is something that comes up and that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be looked at, that needs to be understood. Because it's also not about changing. You cannot really change yourself without understanding. You have to understand what's going on. When there's understanding, it's from awareness that shifts can occur. Like, so if you understand that there's an unmet need or an unmet fear, you can see what the root cause of it is. You can see whether it is true. You can recontextualize it. You can look deeper and deeper within for how true is it. And when you see through it, there are different ways of working with it, through CAP or energy modalities or psychological therapeutical tools, to, if it's like a tightly mechanism of self-protecting, of energy stuck together, it's like you have these tools to loosen it up so that the energy can be let go. So that if I look back on it now, when I was threatened by this woman, instead of having that reaction and expressing that anger and expressing that fear, I was just saying my heart and like, okay, if you want to do that, if you want to threaten me, if you want me to be whatever the consequences of this are, I accept that. Okay, I'm okay with that. And I realized it was a fear of dying, fear of going through suffering and dying that she was threatening me with. And that was just a fear that got triggered and that came out. So for me now, this is, it's funny to say, but I don't want to say exciting, but this is precious, because I have now a chance to deal with this, to sit with this, to go deeper with this, and to show God whether or not I'm really what I say I am. Because the way I present myself, the way I talk is one thing, but what do I do? How do I do? How am I? And this is like a chance, like you say one thing and you say you want a certain way of life and you want a certain way of being and you have certain values, but something in you is less than conscious. Are you willing to look at that? Are you willing to allow that process of healing to occur? Are you willing to let things go that are causing these things that are not in alignment with your values to be transmuted or to be understood? Are you willing to give up your position that is, let's say, creating unconsciousness in you, so that you won't know if you're safe or not, but you will be conscious. Did that sound right? I don't know if that sounds right. Forget about that part. Anyway, this is where I am right now, and this morning I don't know why, but I got this whole idea of like, okay, this is a period now where this came up, and we're gonna work with this on different levels, energetic levels, consciousness, therapeutic, whatever. And yeah, my intention is, I guess my mission on look, I know what the purpose is, because I've had it come so often, is to be a light in the world. And my mission is, dear God, let my life be an expression of your love. So thank you so much for watching. An awesome day, and yeah, it all comes down to sincerity and honesty. You cannot really avoid yourself. And it's funny how life shows you and mirrors you things that you thought you were beyond, or that you thought you had worked out or transcended.